Kevin's a returning volunteer, and returning and returning.
Sean Ramsey. I'm Steve White. I've been around for 5 years or so.
And Steve's one of the board of directors.
I'm Jenny Varden, and been here almost 3 years, and I'm acting as the interim training coordinator.
I'm Denise Hernandez. I've been here for about 9 months.
Alan Justice, 6 years.
And I'm Dr. Wood. I started this in '82. Come a long way.
82.
It's your fault.
We used to pick up animals and we take care of them in volunteers' backyards. Anybody who was willing to pour a slab and build a chain link fence, and transported most of our catches to Marin after stabilization, and worked our way up to having a center and a lot of volunteers who can report to one location and have a phone and a heater, though it's not on tonight. So it's great.
I'm Caitlin Knox, and I've been here for about 1.5 years.
Janet Dickey, 5 years.
And Janet Dickey's also on the board of directors.
Kathy Long, I've been here for a couple of years.
Come in.
And I'm Nancy Newman, and just moved here actually 2 years ago, so wanted to volunteer.
I'm Bill Newman. Just moved here also.
Yeah, I know, together.
Ready to volunteer.
I'm Pauline Lotolini. I've been here about 1.5 years.
And the 2 people who just came in?
I'm Shelley. I work at NMMCTraining Animal Clinic. I volunteered here last year, and I don't know what else I'm supposed to do. I've been in working for about 3 years.
And your favorite hobbies?
My favorite, well,
Animals.
scrapbooking, playing sucky face, and puppy breath.
I'm Storm Lake. I live in Brookings. I worked at the Marine Animal Center outside of Sausalito for about 3 years, 2.5 to 3 years before I moved up here. I guess I've been here about 4 years.
Okay. So, Shelley, you might want to come back here,
Okay.
otherwise
Oh,
you're
am
part
I
of the
right
show.
in? Wait.
And Storm, you may
No, I
have
want
to move
to be
to
in
the
the
right a little bit. So, our idea for tonight is, as we're kind of reorganizing, we've been somewhat spoiled for 5 years in having a paid facility coordinator who's been here 40 plus hours a week, somebody we could call or cry on her shoulder or have her fill shifts when there wasn't somebody else to do it. And Lanny has taken a job with National Marine Fisheries on the East Coast as an assistant coordinator for the Northeast region of the stranding network. So in the interim, the board of directors is working diligently on filling that position, and so we have notices out on the Marmam listserv, and we're just in the very preliminary part of starting to get some resumes and seeing what we're going to do. But in the meantime, the harbor seals aren't going to wait to be born, darn it. And so it means, a lot more work and responsibility on all of our parts, keeping this going. And this really isn't a new thing, in the 25, 26, 27 years that I've done this. We started out, myself and a marine biologist and a fisherman, and we did it all ourselves. And then we found a few people that were crazy enough to be willing to get up at all hours of the night and get fishy smelling and go out in the rain and feed animals, and it's kind of grown. But so it's definitely possible to do as a group of volunteers, and certainly we have a much better trained and larger core group now than we've had for a long time. So I'm not really worried, and I wasn't horrified when Lainey told us she was leaving, because as she was working on her master's degree, we figured she probably would move on. This is a small center, but we feel like we're very important, and we definitely will carry on the mission. So as harbor seal pup season comes around, those of you that have been here for a while, kind of know all this, but just to kind of reintroduce it, harbor seals give birth to their pups on the beach, and that's a natural process. The mother leaves the pup on the beach and goes fishing so she can eat and make milk, and that's a natural process. What isn't natural is people seeing the poor little darlings like this and feeling like it's abandoned, and so they pick them up and they, some cases, carry them around. Some people take them to bars and show them off. Some people take them home, put them in their bathtub, and try and take care of them. We've had them bundled in sleeping bags to keep them warm, and had them brought in with hyperthermia and brain damage.
Sorry, that's not going to be real clear.
So those things happen. Our hopes are that we'll get a call about these animals on the beach, and all calls are funneled to the center, whether they come to the sheriff's office or the Department of Ag or Ocean World or National Marine Fisheries. They come to us because we're responsible for the coastline from the Marin, Humboldt County line to the Oregon border. And just as an aside, if there are calls from Brookings, we can educate people about animals on the beach there, but we cannot cross the state line and touch them. So that's the end of our jurisdiction.
You mean the Marin Mendocino or Sonoma?
Or rather, Mendocino, Humboldt County. Yeah, just left out of county. Yeah. So the first thing that happens, just to kind of run through this quickly, is a call will come in, hopefully, and it's not a person with an animal. We have someone in the office part-time now who's handling all the paperwork and doing a lot of the phone answering. Otherwise, the phone will go to our interim volunteer straining coordinators, and information is taken on the animal, and that information is going to hopefully include something that gives us a clue as to what the animal is on the beach, whether it is a neonatal harbor seal, as in this case, or whether it's a yearling elephant seal with skin disease, which is a whole different priority, and you take a lot different gear with you when you go on the assessment and the potential rescue. So those things are things that a lot of you will probably be called out to go out and do assessments. If you're a seasoned volunteer, you may go with somebody who is to make assessments on the beach. But one critical thing with the harbor seal pups on the beach is just running through your mind over and over that this is a natural process, that baby very likely is supposed to be there, and your primary role is to keep people and dogs away from it. And a good 50 yards is a good rule of thumb, because that mother may be bobbing in the surf and be just checking up on her baby, and if she sees dogs or people near it and she feels threatened, she may turn around and never come back, and then we've created a stranded pup. And these guys are much happier growing up in the wild with mother's milk than they are stuck in a marine mammal center with unnatural stresses and much higher likelihood of coming down with viral or bacterial infections, and at a cost of hundreds and hundreds of dollars per pup to raise them and be able to release them in the wild. So,
Doc,
the
the only